All right, we've got a lot to get to. We've got our friends Patriot Ray, Doug and Mountain Home Pro-Life. Hang on, we're going to get to you guys in a minute. Our great friend Dan Perkins, the guru, joins us. Good morning, Dan Perkins.
Good morning, Kevin Miller. How are you?
Living the dream. Before we start with anything, what do you make of Lisa Page, her explosive comments? Yep, the DOJ told the FBI, hands off Hillary.
Yeah. Are you surprised?
I'm surprised that she admitted it.
Oh, well, maybe she admitted it because she figured it never was going to come out, that Hillary's going to win and all this was all going to just get buried and never talked about. I mean, I think that's part of the issue is the arrogance of the deep state saying they're going to accomplish what they're going to accomplish gave them the ability to say whatever they wanted to say in their emails and their texts, and it really became their death sentence. Although nobody's gone to prison, nobody's even been tried or charged out of this yet, which I find absolutely amazing. But what we're learning is that what we thought the bastion of freedom or the protection of our freedoms, the Justice Department and the FBI, were bad guys. And for a lot of people in this country, that's really hard to swallow. And I don't mean, Kevin, all the people were bad guys. It appears that the leadership of the top, the administrative state of the FBI and the Justice Department, were part of the Hillary cabal, and when she didn't win, they took it on upon themselves to try and figure out a way to get rid of the president of the United States, and that's not what this country's about.
Dan Perkins joining us. Kevin Miller in the morning. KIDO Talk Radio 107.5 FM, 580 AM. Okay, Dan. We're going to talk about your writing. We're going to talk about your analysis, but we live in the United States of America. We had both houses of Congress. And where was Trey Gowdy? Where was Paul Ryan? Where was anybody to say, Lynch, Holder, McCabe, you got Comey, you're coming before us, and we're going to give you the Manafort treatment? Nothing happened. Right.
And what that's a really great observation because it's so true. I mean, I was really pissed this week when I saw Paul Ryan say that he believes that Donald Trump will win in 2020. Where the hell was he from the very beginning? He wasn't. What we had here was, and I really believe what I'm saying is very, very true. When we had the president win the race, there were many, many Republicans in the Congress and in the Senate who did not want Donald Trump to be president, and therefore they couldn't get him out of office, but they wanted to try and neutralize him, so they never supported what he wanted to do. So when people say, well, look, he had control of the House and the Senate, no, he didn't. The Republicans might have had the name of Republicans, the majority, but they clearly were supporting the president and what the president was trying to do because they themselves, Kevin, were part of the deep state. They were anti-Trump. They were never Trumpers in the Republican Party, and they made no bones about publicly criticizing the president early on in his administration. So he didn't have full control of the House and the Senate as Obama had when he took over as president in 2009. He had a Congress who had Republican majorities, but they were against him. They didn't believe he should be president. And it took a long time for people to understand that not only was he the legitimate president, he was going to do what said he was going to do, and he's wound up doing something like 75 to 80% of everything that he promised in the elections that he was going to accomplish. He's gotten it done, and I think this whole change in the House was a function of 40-some Democrats deciding, either because they lost their chairmanship because of the rules in the House, they decided to retire or leave or not stand for re-election, and that really made the difference in the makeup of the House, because historically, about 93% of incumbents get reelected. So their exit, for whatever reason, in mass, the largest group of any party not standing for reelection in the House, created the opportunity for the Democrats to come in. However, I would say, Kevin, I'm almost 74, and I've been through a lot of presidential campaigns and election cycles and changes in the leadership of the House and the Senate. Nancy Pelosi's high water mark was Christmas Eve, when she went in to see the president and tell him that she wasn't going to get any money for the wall. And in less than 2 months, she basically lost control of her party to 3 young women who are first-timers and really have no idea what they're doing. But she's no longer effectively the leader of the House. And that was a remarkable turn of events, and it happened in less than 6 weeks after she became Speaker of the House, that she lost control of the House.
Our great friend Dan Perkins joining us, author, man of the world, commentator, analysis, financial guru on KIDO Talk Radio, 107.5 FM, 580 AM. People want to get a hold of you. They want to read your stuff based on the real world. How can they do that, Dan?
DanPerkins.guru is the best place to find everything you want to know, whether it's radio or television or commentaries or about songs and stories, links to songs and stories, or links to Amazon to buy the books.
All right.
Including the children's books.
Now, let me hit you with this one.
Sure.
You're 74.
Yep. Almost.
You've probably, well, no, you haven't probably. You've seen America at its greatest with the middle class, the blue-collar folks, the incredible wealth being built, dreams being lived. And now 2 things. Did you ever think that somebody as nurtured in the art of politics, like a Nancy Pelosi, would be afraid of a 29-year-old kid or a 30-something who never was, or a 40-something blowhard?
I would say, Kevin, I would say no up until about 4 years ago. And that's prior to the. Actually, I'd go now with Trump in 2 years. I'd say 10 years ago, because what was clear to me that the country was headed in a different direction when Obama took over, and with his hope and change, and he gave us the hope and he gave us change, but not the right kind of change. The other thing, and it's really tied into the research that I did in writing the trilogy about the Muslim. If you look at the most recent events, Kevin, you find, if you're objective in looking at them, here we had the young lady had been in office for somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 weeks as a congressman from Minneapolis, Somali community, Muslim. That's the operative, Muslim, and she attacked Israel with anti-Semitic remarks. And Nancy Pelosi didn't know the first time what she was going to do, other than to say, well, that's really not the way we operate here in the House. Then she did it again, and even more brash. And so there was this discussion about creating a referendum or a piece of legislation that would solidify the House's position on anti-Semitism behavior. And so what happened was, I said, okay, and I wrote about this. I said, this woman was the one responsible for making the remarks that caused this referendum, this piece of legislation to be spoken about. However, the offender was never mentioned in it.
Right.
And in fact, I said in my piece before this thing came to a conclusion, she's not going to be in it, and look to see if there aren't Muslim protections put in here. What we've really seen here, Kevin, is that two of the three women are Muslim. One is Somalian, one is Palestinian. They're both Muslims. We have seen the power of the influence and terror, right word, terror, that Muslims bring to the Democratic Party. I believe that the Muslims have intimidated the Democratic Party, and we saw it firsthand in their resolution last week when she was the cause of it, and she was able to, along with her other Muslim friend, get the House to pass this resolution that not only talked about anti-Semitism, but also had more things about anti-Muslim than anything else. And she still wasn't named in it. And I said in the piece last week, she's going to do it again. And if the House doesn't do anything, you have effectively turned the power of the operation of the House of Representatives over to two Muslim women.
Dan Perkins, if people want your information, what can they do?
Just go to danperkins.com danperkins.guru, and they can download the commentaries, and they can hear radio interviews like this and television, and learn what I have to say about lots of different things.
Well, we love having you on, Dan. You take care now.
Thank you for having me, and have a great weekend.
All right, our great friend Dan Perkins. Let's get to your calls. Patriot Ray, boom, boom, boom. Thanks for your patience. You're on KIDO Talk Radio.
Boom, boom, boom. I like that. How are you this morning? What a wonderful opportunity to be able to listen to Mr. Perkins. You know what we have, and he's almost 74. I just turned 70. I've seen quite a bit go on. I used to love President Kennedy. He was awesome. They destroyed him. But when Obama was around, his executive orders didn't get challenged. Nothing that he did really got challenged. The Republicans, the Democrats, now they just went with the flow. We see President Trump, who is doing all that he can to protect our borders, and they're doing all they can to destroy him, a man who's really up for the people, trying to help us. And what are the people doing? There are people out there attacking people with MAGA hats, and then the MAGA hat wearing people get attacked because they started it. You know, the truth needs to come out. The truth needs to be heard. The media is the enemy of the people. Those in Congress, Republican, Democrat, I don't see anybody that's supporting this man as way they should be. Pelosi, Schumer, and the others should be brought up on charges of treason. We see this going on. They need to be investigated. They need to have their finances investigated. We need to really push that as a people. In our local Congress, what a disappointment. We've got gun control bills coming up, and they're going to hear those, but they're not going to hear the ones that protect the people. You know, we know that gun-free zones kill people. It's a killing area, and we cannot allow that in this wonderful state of Idaho. And we're seeing it in other states where we're getting our rights taken away left and right. And we have got to stand up. We just need to. We've got people out there who are trying, but they're not able to do it alone. So get out and support those who are really trying to protect our rights to have our Second Amendment taken care of and our freedom of speech taken care of. They listen to those who go up and talk to them who are shilling out money. And I don't like it because I've testified before Congress, our local Congress, and they give us a minute or two, but they give these lobbyists 10, 15, 20 minutes to do their spiel, and they're getting paid off. There's just too much going on at this house to not. So, Kevin, stay fired up. We love your program. You are the man for freedom. You're doing all that you can. We appreciate the forum. Just stay fired up and have a great day. Thank you.
All right, Patriot Ray. God bless.
God bless you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Boom, boom, boom. Doug in Mountain Home with Kevin Miller. Good morning, Doug.
Oh, you got pro-life. Got the wrong lane.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, I hate it when that happens. Well,
you want to go back?
Yeah, hang on, pro-life. We'll go to Doug. Doug in Mountain Home. Good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio.
I say, yeah. The guy that was just on, basically, I want to say the same kind of stuff. I mean, until they make somebody accountable, Kevin, up there in the White House, that where all the big money's at, it's just going to keep going on the same way. We've seen it. You've seen it. I mean, just look what's going on with them college things right now. And I don't get it. Okay, them people, okay, lied, cheated, paid their kids into their schools, and they're arresting them. We got people in Washington, D.C. with treason.
Hey, here's something real quick.
Happening?
They actually went to one of the little starlets' houses in the middle of the night to get her, the SWAT team and all this. And you're thinking, really, guys? Really?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And we have people with treason to our country and doing deals with stuff that can make nuclear bombs. And you know who I'm talking about, selling it to the Russians. And there's no Russian collusion. They're trying to blame our president. And just what he said about, your Perkins said about Paul Ryan, what you said, all them guys. You've heard me say it before. Until something's changed where they can't just retire in 6 years and get their full retirement and just step out. Well, I'm tired. I'm tired. I don't want to do it no more. And and they just get their money. They're making the laws and the rules for themselves.
They are.
Yeah, they are. So there's nothing that's going to change until, and this president is trying to change it, people. Go with him. Whether you're a Democrat, not a progressive or a communist, a Democrat that is an American. Watch what he is doing. Pay attention to what he's done to this country. He is literally trying to turn this around, and he's been doing it by himself and a few people around him. I mean, look at your people. Look at the people that we have in our state legislators right now. Are they doing anything for us? No. I mean, Kevin, you talk about it all the time with the grocery repeal tax and all that. Are they doing anything? No. Are you listening, Little? I hope you're listening to this, Little, because I didn't vote for you. I mean, you're just another one of them Republicans that got bought and paid for in, just like the people that just bought and paid for their kids to go to college, and now they're getting caught. All right, Kevin, I've said enough. Thanks for being on. Thanks for the show and the great people that you have on the show to inform us. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Okay. Pro-life, one more time. Boom, boom, boom.
All right. Hey, Lisa Page.
Pro-life, give me a boom, boom, boom.
Bam, bam, bam.
Oh, quite the contrarian. Go ahead, please.
Well, anyway, Lisa Page, what she's doing is just, she knows that she's in big trouble.
The gig is up, Lisa.
So what she's doing is saying, I was just following orders. The head of the DOJ and the FBI, they were telling me what to do, so I'm not responsible. I'm just one of the soldiers. That's all she's doing. And
for people just tuning in, we've been talking about this earlier in the morning. Lisa Page admitted before a closed-door hearing in Congress that the Department of Justice said, lay off Hillary, hands off Hillary and her caboose.
Right. Well, not for that one, but anyway, the media has to be, and I've heard this before, and you don't see any of the investigative reporters doing anything about it, but there has to be Islamic and communist ownership and board members of the media companies, or they could not be this skewed and crooked. I mean, it's obvious, to have the two Islamic House of Representative ladies just get all that attention. That is obviously coming from an Islamic influence on those. And I know that I've heard some kind of statistics of how much board members there are of that influence on the big media, and people need to investigate that. Now, the people of the United States, if we don't go first to the moral issues, we have to stop murdering our babies. We have to clean up our sexual acts, and we have to follow Christ, or we're not going to go anywhere. We're just going to, because the Republicans aren't going to save us. They can't. Only Jesus Christ can. So we're just in a big, and if you're going to some kind of a church that says we're not going to talk about morals, politics, health, economics at church, we're just, going going to have these bland kind of churches, well, then you're in trouble. Well, anyway, we love hearing from you, Kevin. All the people on here are doing good, and I love hearing from Doug out there at Mountain Home. He's always great.
Well, we got Doug, we got Pete building up the Mountain Home Militia. Pro-Life, thank you.
All right. See you later.
You too. God bless. Phone numbers 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Heidi ho. Brenda in Boise. Good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio. Thanks for your patience, Brenda.
Good morning, Kevin. Hey, God bless you for everything that you've ever done for our neighborhood. Used to be Boise. I definitely concur with your previous callers, but what I would really like to say is, why does everybody jump to judgment against our president and any given topic? The man, he's under so much scrutiny, and we have to give things time to evolve. And what he's done, and he's thwarted like every other step that he tries to take. And why can't we just, throttle back a little bit and let him do what he's been doing? And he's been doing amazing.
Right.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah. I would agree with you, but they want to get rid of him. And then we have Lisa Page admitting, hey, man, DOJ said, hands off Hillary.
Golly. Okay, where's the justice? Okay, so seemingly things are coming to fruition, and hopefully justice will prevail. But at the same token, it's just everybody just throttle back a little bit. Let this man, our president, Trump, let him do the work,
right? Because
nobody else is, and he's doing just great things for this country. And otherwise, we're lost.
Brenda, thank you for the call, and thank you for supporting us here on KIDO Talk Radio.
You bet. Thank you. God bless.
God bless. Do your job. All right. We go to Rachel Sutherland. Always on the scene. Capitol Hill, KIDO Talk Radio, Fox News Radio. Good morning, Rachel.
Hey, good morning, Kevin.
Man. Now, you ever made a bad call in life?
Oh, sure. Everybody makes mistakes.
I'm always living in the past, unfortunately, and hopefully for the audience here, it's for their entertainment. But, man, you talk about a bad call. Poor Paul Manafort, okay? He gets hooked up with the president there for 2-3 months, and boom, if he didn't do anything with the president, a lot of people speculate he wouldn't be in the trouble that he's in, and another sentence added on to the one he got last week.
Well, yeah, a lot of people are saying that. In fact, Kevin Downing, his lawyer, referenced that as well. And, I have a theory that getting into politics ups your chances of going to jail by like 80%. I mean, it happens all the time. And, so I have no interest in politics, getting into it myself. But Paul Manafort was convicted of serious crimes. Now, you're right, they probably wouldn't have come to light had he not been President Trump's campaign chairman. But in any case, Judge Amy Berman Jackson yesterday, I thought she was really going to throw the book at him because she spoke for a long time leading up to her sentence. She only ended up adding about 3 years on to his already about 3.5 years. So a total of 7.5 years between the sentences in Virginia and D.C., and then it took like 5 minutes for prosecutors in New York to slap another indictment on Paul Manafort. So it was a pretty tough day for him yesterday.
Now, you have to wonder, and people have been speculating about this, a presidential pardon. Now you have folks in New York saying, well, we're going to get him again. I don't know what Paul Manafort did to upset so many people.
That's a good question. New York, the prosecutors there say that he ran some kind of mortgage fraud scheme, was trying to get millions of dollars in loans in a way that was fraudulent. He hasn't been convicted of this yet, but because it's a state-level crime, if he is convicted, that would rule out a pardon from President Trump. The president yesterday was asked about pardoning Paul Manafort on the federal charges, and he just said he hadn't thought about it yet, but that he does feel bad for Paul Manafort.
Indeed. What's Congress doing this week? Anything good, or are they just hanging out like they always did? Now, I'm embellishing.
The Senate today is getting ready to take a vote that would overturn the president's national emergency declaration on the southern border. That will happen probably later this afternoon, and it's expected to pass because some Republicans have decided they'll vote with Democrats on this. I think our last head count here at Fox was 4 or 5 Republicans may vote with Democrats, which would easily send it to the White House. The president vowing a veto on that, so he'll win this one because they're not believed to have the 2/3 majority to be able to override the presidential veto. But really, this issue, the National Emergency Declaration, will be decided by the courts. It was, the Republicans who are going to vote with Democrats on this, they say they're concerned about presidential overreach, the idea of using a national emergency to move money around without the authority of Congress. So that's why you see some Republicans holding out on that.
Rachel, we appreciate you. You have a great day.
You too.
Our great friend Rachel Sutherland, Kevin Miller in the Morning, KIDO Talk Radio.
Tonight about what the Obama Justice Department ordered federal lawyers to do and not to do concerning the Hillary Clinton email investigation. Chief Intelligence Correspondent Catherine Herridge tells us in sworn testimony on Capitol Hill, one of the insiders told lawmakers what she was told.
During closed-door testimony last summer, former FBI lawyer Lisa Page said the Obama administration's Justice Department advised the FBI not to pursue the gross negligence statute for Hillary Clinton in the mishandling of classified information. Former U.S. Attorney and House Republican John Ratcliffe led the line of questioning about the statute, known as 18 U.S.C. 793. Ratcliffe, you're making it sound like it was the department that told you you're not going to charge gross negligence because we're the prosecutors. Page interrupted. That is correct. Page's testimony appears to conflict with then FBI Director James Comey's recommendation in July 2016 against criminal charges for Clinton.
What I can assure the American people is that this investigation was done honestly, competently, and independently. No outside influence of any kind was brought to bear.
The Republican-led House Oversight and Judiciary Committee investigation ended in January. With Democrats now in control, the committee's new ranking Republican made the Page transcript public.
The transcript releases show an inherent two-tier system, one in which Hillary Clinton gets the treatment that she got, where they was actually at first concerned that they were going to charge her, and then with Loretta Lynch in charge, before she recused herself, made it very clear that that was not going to happen.
The tip-off came from a chart drawn up by federal investigators assigned to the Clinton case known as mid-year exam. Fox News has confirmed that the chart listed possible federal statutes for prosecution. Next to gross negligence was a notation, quote, DOJ not willing to charge this. Only known cases are military. Cases when accused lost the information. In response to the Page revelations, the president tweeted the transcripts, quote, make the Obama Justice Department look exactly like it was, a broken and corrupt machine.
The Page transcript also confirms Fox's earlier reporting. The Page testified Russia collusion was still unproven when Special Counsel Robert Mueller was appointed. Brett?
There we have it. And remember, when you hear Fox News on the radio, you're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio, your home for Fox. Let's go to Lisa in Eagle with Kevin Miller. Good morning, Lisa.
Oh, good morning, Kevin. Thanks for taking the call. Hey, I wanted to start out with a quote. It's easier to fool the people than to convince them that they have been fooled. And I just think that is so true today. Our news and media is all in cahoots with what's been going on in our government, not only at the Fed level, but the CIA, FBI, Justice Department. And I just think the only way people are going to be awakened is if they get their news from elsewhere. And there is a website, QAnon, that's QANON.pub. And there's you can start to do your own research and see these people like Lisa Page, Mueller, just all the top guys that they are all in on this. They've been associated with the Clintons. especially Mueller, for a long time. And it's just like, I know it takes time and people are working hard. They don't have time, but the only way we're going to get out of this is to see the truth. And it's a hard pill to swallow because we have been fooled. So anyway, that's my comment this morning.
Well, we appreciate the resource, Lisa. And you know, we've got a retired U.S. Attorney, Chuck Ambrose, that joins us. And he, before the national press disclosed, Comey and Mueller were best buddies. And then you throw in McCabe, and now the thing that there's no there. You know, these guys need to be brought up. If you're going to go after Paul Manafort and others, then you got to go after Lynch. You got to go after these people.
Well, and part of the problem is when you go after these people, there are even judges, they let them off, and that's why it's taken President Trump so long to clean the swamp, because he has to get all those people out of there, because when they try to bring charges, they'll just get them off, just like Comey let that whole tarmac situation.
Right.
You know, oh, there's no problem. And Hillary's heart, you know, when she was opening up her emails to China and making money off of our country's secrets. I mean, it's that bad. It's so hard to believe it. Even my husband has a hard time hearing this, but I've been following it for a few years, and it's really a hard pill to swallow. But you know what? Be strong. The truth will set us free.
As Mr. Hannity would say, Lisa, make sure you call in and give us some more information. We appreciate you.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Well, about right. We got Lisa there giving us the details. Coming up next, unfiltered, uncensored, Max in Garden City. We'll get to him next. And your calls at join the conversation now. 580-5436. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio.
We saw the power of this in Texas, where people allowed no difference, however great or however small, to stand between them and divide us, whether it was religion or gender or income or geography. We put our labels and our differences aside to come together for the only thing that matters, the future of this country and the generations that will follow us.
What's this guy smoking? That's Beto O'Rourke, who in fact is running for the presidency. They love the Beto, whatever his name is. He, as Rahm Emanuel, soon-to-be former mayor of Chicago, called him a loser. And when he's talking about putting our titles and ethnicity and everything else aside, that's not the Democratic Party. They're all about identity politics and pandering.
All of us, wherever you live, can acknowledge that if immigration is a problem, it's the best possible problem for this country to have. And we should ensure that there are lawful paths to work, to be with family, and to flee persecution.
Well, Beto, there are lawful paths, and they're breaking them. And you're enabling them. Simple as that. Let's go to Max in Garden City with Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Max.
Good morning, Kevin. How you doing, brother?
Boom, boom, boom.
Bam, bam, bam. Oh, living the dream. And I have a question that I haven't heard asked before. Maybe you have. And that is, just what part is blackmail playing in these events in the White House, in Congress? We know that Bill Clinton managed to become the youngest governor in history because he had dirt on virtually every judge and sheriff in the state of Arkansas. Can't that same ability to gather blackmail and dirt be what's protecting the Clintons today and protecting Obama?
Well, look, with Lisa Page and her comments revealed, there better be a special prosecutor for Lynch. There better be one for Holder, Obama, Clinton. If you're going to stretch this out and go after Donald Trump for the collusion with Russia, how can you say that how can you justify that the FBI was told through internal documents to knock it off, hands off Hillary and the caboose, number one. Number two, here you have Strzok and Page both saying there's nothing here. And because Comey, the bitter, disgraced FBI person, decided to leak documents, which I believe is illegal in his position. The press buttressed it. They were bitter because Trump beat them at their own game. We have an independent prosecutor who's wasted millions of dollars who has nothing. Nothing.
Well, I understand. They handled it very well by distracting us with something else, like the university bribery charges. That's been going on since Harvard opened their doors. I have a friend, a good friend, who paid $50,000 to get his daughter into Harvard. He slipped it to a guy. This happens all the time. So why are they now, what they're saying is, we're going to bust jaywalkers because that's something new. No, it's not. They're trying to distract us from Lisa Page's statements and from the fact that only one thing could cause so many senators, so many congressmen to go off the rails. Somebody's got dirt on them. And that's got to be it.
Well, all those congressmen are gone. No, that would be the logical explanation of it. But and look, here's the skinny, Max. Now, you've lived away from America, but in your heart, you love America. You've chosen to live here, like many of us. And we don't want.
I served 6 years in the United States Marine Corps when I was a very young man.
Well, I can see that in your. I can see that in your eyes. Thank you for your service. Number one. Number two, though, look, we don't want to be right about this. But the idea that the Attorney General met with Clinton and all the abuses of going after people while you were gone, they went after everybody, and they're not going to be held accountable? Come on.
Well, even when I was gone, I was listening to that on shortwave radio. I was keeping track of my homeland. I had people in China who needed me far more than people in America needed me on a more immediate basis. And I made the mistake of thinking, well, down at heart, Congress and the Senate, they're good people. They'll make the right decision. I actually believed that. I realized, especially the senior congressmen and senators, they're insulated. They live in a bubble. They have a security. They have everything so perfect for them that they get lazy. They get bored. They do naughty things. In comes the Clinton blackmail machine. And now I believe it is the Muslim blackmail machine. I believe there's been enough blackmail gathered, enough bad information on everybody that's been there more than 6 years that they're going to bow and sit on their hands and let the president work alone. I am so convinced it can't be money. They have power. They have power. It can only be shame.
Or they're in on it.
Well, it could be they're in on it, but I think more than that, they're in on it because they want to keep themselves out of jail. They've done things that would either get them fired or incarcerated, and they're just going to sit back and do as their masters tell them. The strings are being yanked, Kevin.
Max, thank you for listening to KIDO Talk Radio. Have a great day.
You take care, my friend.
All right, another waking up on the right side gem from our friend Max. Traffic and weather together.
I'm News Channel 7's Eric Gabbard.
And Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. Coming up next, we're going to speak to, a noted conservative, David Horowitz. We're going to get his thoughts on these dramatic revelations that the DOJ, the Department of Justice, was told to back off. Plus, we have Beto O'Rourke, whatever his name is. He says he's running for president because he's going to bring and put America together, complete with the cover of Vanity Fair magazine, and talking about running and everything. And I just find it interesting that when he's talking about making America great, and he even throws in something about slavery. Let's see if it's in this cut.
I'm running to serve you as the next president of the United States of America. This is a defining moment of truth for this country and for every single one of us. The challenges that we face right now, the interconnected crises in our economy, our democracy, and our climate have never been greater. And they will either consume us or they will afford us the greatest opportunity to unleash the genius of the United States of America.
At least when he's talking about bad-mouthing America, he brings it back, right? he brings it back and says the genius of the United States of America. Has Representative Omar ever talked about the genius of the United States of America? Has Representative Ocasio-Cortez talked about the genius of the United States of America?
This is going to be a positive campaign that seeks to bring out the very best from every single one of us, that seeks to unite a very divided country.
Don't sing it, bring it, Beto. We're ready for you. Kevin Miller and the Militia, KIDO Talk Radio.